has chosen to make a speech and has decided not to give the market anything. In the wake of Stanley Fischer saying recently there will be 4 rate rises this year. His silence to many people today is deafening. We thought he might say something dovish. He's clearly chosen not to. You said just now that you feel that they've made a mistake raising rates, and you think that they'll undo that. Isn't the lesson that the world has changed? And when, for example, in the fall, Janet Yellen said, I'm not raising rates because I'm worried about China, the market actually fell. So if they came back and reversed the rate rise, wouldn't that send panic through global markets?
Well, I don't know that it'd calm everything down, but step away from the market for a minute, even though it's all livelihood. They've got to worry about what happens with the economy. And they can't really allow us to slip into another recession because to some degree their gun is empty already. So I think they might, in desperation, cut back and go back to zero in hopes of saving the economy from slipping into recession.
But to pick up your point, the markets are down very heavily. Do you see an economy that really is hurting that badly? I mean, through the prism of the markets, it looks horrible. But actually, you can argue that growth is really quite robust. The employment data has been really robust recently.
Well, again, I don't want to keep arguing the same case, but if you look down underneath the data, it's not quite as robust as you think. Over 35% of the household surveyed, 485,000 jobs, went to people under the age of 19. Only 3%, 16,000 jobs, went to people between the age of 25 and 55. That tells me that robust employment number you saw was a lot of holiday hiring.
You've said that we would see 0% on the Fed funds rate before we'd see 1%. Are you now thinking about rates maybe going negative, like Dudley seems to be insinuating?
Well, we're seeing it in Europe. I would think that they would try as hard as they might not to do it here. I think if they get to zero, what they may have to do is resort to more QE to see if they can get that working.
Does that work? Does
No.
QE work?
No.
Can't we see from Europe that it's clearly not working? Europe is engaged in massive QE and the markets are falling. And lending isn't coming back. Isn't the QE tiger dead? A paper tiger?
Not fully. Certainly Bernanke believed in it, and I think he convinced many of his associates. They'll try anything. They're running out of tools. They can't change interest rates, and I think that they would move heaven and hell to avoid going negative. So they'll try it again. So just because it didn't work and doesn't work, wouldn't stop it.
So, Art, put this in context for us. How big a deal is? Because, of course, we see the Dow down more than 400 points again at these levels on a day like this. We get excited. But which which periods is this similar to? I mean, we're not in crisis mode. What mode are we in?
Well, I think you're in deep concern mode because the movement in crude has really gotten the markets a little crazy here. And they are worried that if it continues to go down, and it's doing so even as we speak, that it might be headed towards something like 25, and that might explode the entire high-yield bond area. And you could see 2/3 of the operators there go bankrupt. And they're worried about the contagion that we've seen in the past. Will it go from high yield to the rest of the market as subprime did? So that's the concern. They're still living in the last crisis.
Well, and then